Wolves are one of the most controversial species we have in Michigan. And right now, House Bill 6008 is trying to answer a pretty simple question. Once gray wolves are removed from federal protection, should Michigan be required to establish a regulated hunting and trapping season? Under the current law, the Natural Resources Commission may establish a wolf season after federal delisting. House Bill 6008 would change that from something the NRC could choose to do to something they are required to do. The NRC would still determine the actual details, including harvest limits, season dates, and approved methods, but it could not simply delay creating a season indefinitely. To understand why this bill is being proposed, you have to understand the history of wolves in Michigan. Wolves are native to the state, but they were eliminated from the Lower Peninsula by the 1930s and nearly disappeared from the Upper Peninsula by the early 1960s. Since then, the UP population has made a significant recovery. According to the Michigan DNR, wolves have exceeded state and federal recovery goals for more than 20 years. And the 2024 survey estimated a minimum population of 768 wolves in the Upper Peninsula. Now, the people that are in favor of having wolves in Michigan believe that recovery is a conservation success story. And I do want to be clear about that. Our position isn't necessarily that we should wipe out all the wolves, but I also do respect and understand the reason why they got rid of wolves in the first place. But when an animal has exceeded its recovery goals for more than 2 decades, we also believe it should eventually be managed like a recovered wildlife population would be, especially when their recovery is causing new problems. There are real conflicts happening in the Upper Peninsula. There are documented conflicts involving wolves, livestock, hunting dogs, pets, and other human concerns. We have personally talked to hunters who have lost dogs to wolves. Those stories are brutal. These conflicts are often localized, and the DNR acknowledges that hunters and trappers could potentially be used as one management tool when reducing wolf numbers in specific areas is scientifically justified. That does not mean a season would solve every conflict, but it would give managers another option. Now, here's the part that makes this issue a little bit complicated. Normally, I want wildlife decisions to be made by biologists and the NRC using sound science. I get nervous when legislators start directly controlling hunting and fishing regulations because that power can eventually be used against hunters just as easily as it can be used to support them. In 2024, the DNR recommended and the NRC approved closing Michigan's year-round coyote season from April 16th to July 14th when coyotes are raising pups. The DNR actually said public perception was part of the reasoning. Now I'm going to break this down into layman's terms and tell you how I feel. When the DNR and the NRC closed the coyote season for a few months, that decision has since been overturned. It showed me that public perspective is impacting these scientific decisions. In a perfect world, and I mean this, if the NRC could make scientific decisions, listen to sportsmen and women in our state, and everything was based on science and actual hands-on conservation of what people were seeing in the field, then God bless you, that's exactly how I would want it. But we've seen them make decisions that are emotional. We've seen them make non-scientific decisions. So no, I don't want the legislation to come in and tell the NRC what they should be doing. I don't want the governor to sign a bill that forces scientific stuff to happen. But at the same time, if the NRC doesn't have the checks and balances and they start releasing things like, we're going to close the coyote season because we don't want to hurt the coyotes, then they can't be trusted fully. So there are some times where we're going to need legislation. We're going to need checks and balances. Our founding fathers knew this when they designed our government. At some point, I am not typically for, and you will not see me be in favor of bills that force the NRC to do something that isn't based just solely on scientific evidence. But in this case, it's allowing them to still use science. It's just telling them, hey, listen, you have to have a season, no more games. We know we're above and beyond what we needed, so you need to put a season in place. It could be 2 animals, it could be 20 animals, but at the same time, they need to be forced to do it. And I have a hypothesis, by the way. I bet you somewhere in the NRC, there's some people that are like, they'd like to see this House bill passed because now they don't have to be the bad guys when they put a wolf season out and people are picketing. House Bill 6008 does not tell the NRC how many wolves must be harvested. It does not create an unlimited season, and it doesn't take scientific management away from wildlife professionals. It simply requires the NRC to establish a season once wolves are federally delisted, and that allows the NRC to decide what that season should actually look like based on the population and the best available science. Our position at the Green Lake Conservation Club is is that Michigan has reached the point where a regulated wolf season should not remain optional forever. The population has recovered, conflicts are documented, and the NRC would still control the season structure. For those reasons, GWCC supports House Bill 6008 and supports requiring a scientific regulated wolf hunting season once federal protections are removed. At the end of the day, it should be based on science. This is forcing scientific behavior, but you don't have to agree with me. That's what's beautiful about our state, and that's what's beautiful about Greenway Conservation Club. Click the link below. If you agree with me, a letter will be drafted for you and you can send it out to the correct people. If you disagree with me, fill in your own letter and still use our absolutely free advocacy tool to have your letter sent to the appropriate people. Agree with me or not, that's what makes this town square of Greenway Conservation Club so special. Click the link below to have your voice heard today.